feel like every other month a new video is released going into the mess that is Friday Night Funkin. However, today I not only want to talk about the game's fall off, but also how the game came to be, what made it so popular, and how the developers' own expectations were insanely exceeded. Today, let's talk about Friday Night Funkin. Being created by Ninja Muffin, Phantom Arcade, Kawaii Sprite, and Evil Skater, Friday Night Funkin is a rhythm game uploaded onto Newgrounds, and it quickly became an instant success. Friday Night Funkin received an overwhelming amount of support from both fans of the game and players, who gave it positive reviews for having an amazing soundtrack, premise, and story. The gameplay consists of the player hitting the corresponding notes on beat to the music, with the aim being not to get blue-balled. As the songs progress, the patterns will become more complex, with the player often duetting the other singer, and as the difficulty gets harder, the arrow speed and the patterns also increase in difficulty. One of the biggest selling points of the game is that it is a browser-based game, which has led to a lot of user-made content for the game. Versus Witty is one of the OG Friday Night Funkin' mods, and at the time was its most difficult. It featured multiple songs increasing in difficulty, with the last one known as Witty Ballistic. This was near impossible without spamming the arrow keys. Versus Tricky was created as a nod to Madness Combat series. It's a popular series on Newgrounds, and it had Boyfriend facing off against Tricky the Clown, and it eventually became a fully fledged mod with cutscenes and more. As the game's life has increased, so has the quality of the mods. However, the community is currently in a dark age, with the modding community having very few creative ideas. However, we can't talk about the good without the bad, and as with every popular piece of entertainment, Friday Night Funkin' has had its fair share of bad. However, talking about every fallout, controversy, and groomer would be an entire video in itself, so here's a very quick and simple rundown of some of the bigger controversies within the community. The Sky mod. This was a mod released of a miner's OC called Sky. The character had adult art created of them, which led to harassment of the miner, who eventually took down the mod and left the community. Low quality mods have been the issue of the modding community for a while, as many mods have continued to have bad charting, over-the-top dialogue, and often use the same gimmick. The game itself has also received a lot of backlash, as many people see it as a poorly charted DDR reskin. In April 2021, after the massive success of the game, the developers announced a Kickstarter to turn Friday Night Funkin' into a fully fledged game. This was one of the most funded Kickstarter projects of 2021, gaining over $2 million. The promise from the developers was 10 weeks, an erect difficulty, over 10 playable characters, online multiplayer, fully animated cutscenes, a sharing network, custom character creation, and a multiplayer build. After the Kickstarter funding, the general assumption would be that there would be updates regarding the creation of the game. However, this is not the case. What we do know so far is that there is a look at some of the menus for the games released by Ninja Muffin. Kawaii Sprite revealed most of the music was finished, and Phantom Arcade has shared some screenshots and talked about development on some streams.
Yeah, turns out game development is hard.
Ultimately, I don't think the developers of Friday Night Funkin' should be rushed. We saw what happens with Cyberpunk when they rushed to release that game, and honestly I don't think anybody wants a repeat of that. However, on the plus side, the developers do seem very determined, and all we can do is hope that the community and the mods can hold up until its release. With that being said, my name's Monkeh, and thank you for watching.